Freudian slip there. We all know the admins don't decide anything around here.
That's us.
They have nothing to say.
Yes, we're going to be hanging out and breaking this one down, and you'll be back for Inferno with your casters once we've got to grips with how Inferno does go down, as well as, of course, our expectations for the third and the decider. Only one of these teams are going to continue here at ESL One. I don't really know where to start with that. The way Henry phrased it is that it was kind of two boring halves in the sense of one team dominates one half, the other team dominates the other, and then we find ourselves in that middle ground towards the end.
Yeah, but you love that if you're MIBR because of the way that first half went. They were just playing so well, so disciplined, right? You can tell that their T side was much, much better. Coordination was on a higher level. Yes, you didn't see any mad strategies, and sometimes, you know, they would run the clock down a bit too much, but generally that was the MIBR you know and love, right? And there was no super exciting moments because they were so good in that first half. I mean, one of the rounds that North won had to be an ace from MSL, and so that just tells you the lengths they had to go to even be able to put a couple of rounds on board.
Yes. Somewhat reminiscent of JW versus Big Game on Train, because it was just Fur tore them up so much in the first like 10, 11 rounds that pretty much was game over at that point. So it's actually hard to know even how much prep MIBR's put into this map. Presumably it's in their map pool. They were waiting for a chance to pull it out, but I think this has gone much better than expectations would imagine, and North never really get in the game.
And one person in particular didn't get into the game. We were giving so much credit to Mertz, but CT side AWPing on overpass. With a player like that, you expect, you know, I'm not saying device, but I mean, you expect something more impactful than the 4 frags he had in that first half.
Yeah, I think it comes from not having as much routine as he does on some of the other maps, and just, you know, MIBR was playing really well. They had good use of utility, so he didn't really get that many, you know, easy shots or easy kills, and also they would always get reset, so he didn't even have the op that much, not in a sense that, you know, he had to play a lot with the rifle. It's just that North is a team that likes to eco, so out of the 11 rounds that MIBR won, it's probably 5 of them were anti-eco rounds because of when they won the gun rounds in crucial moments of the game, which obviously does make their job easier on the T side, but it is what it is.
Any glimpses, Duncan, of the MIBR that, you know, we came to expect before the change? I mean, this was a map you said that wasn't necessarily at the top of their map depth chart, but still, they looked comfortable, at least on that first half. Or is it just Fur?
Was I think certainly they were obviously the better team. For me, it goes both ways, because on the one hand, yes, they're obviously doing well against North here, but they shouldn't really be having any trouble from a team like North. Like, actually, if you look at the way North win games, they don't tend to have really good fragging across the team. They win by doing good reads, playing off each other. If you see, they're always topping those stats that are like the flash assists and stuff. You know, they're actually winning on like fundamentals of play. They don't really have that good a lineup in terms of working together, big fragging, etc. You saw Mertz had a really poor game here. Valde actually hasn't really turned up much in the tournament, despite the fact we consider him their best player. So MSL, bizarrely, in some of these games, is coming in the top of the scoreboard. So I think, actually, on the one hand, it says the positives of North, but it shows that they shouldn't really be a match for a team like MIBR, I don't think.
Now, I do want to take this opportunity, actually, Janko, to have you once again at the magical board. You've got something for us quite snappy.
Yeah, this is actually something that I very much liked in the second pistol round from MIBR, and it is something that's important to note. You know, Fallen buys the kit and the smoke on the CT pistol, and teams do that so they could smoke the bomb and then defuse. But in this particular round, he used it in a different way. So I'm going to start it off. At the beginning, it's a default for North. They're waiting for some pushes, so not much really happens up until the mid-round when they're slowly grouping up towards that B bomb site, and they are going to go for a fairly simple B execute. And at that moment, you could have seen that Fallen and Cold were in a boost here, just watching short. You can see Cold Zero, his POV. So after that, they think the B hit is not going to come. Fallen rotates out. And in reality, North is just waiting. They're still going to group up towards that site. And this is where you need to keep an eye out on a couple of guys. Bolts, who's picking Monster. Cold Zero, who's aggressive in short so he can get information. And Fallen, who is going to be the first guy to rotate back to B when the hit actually starts coming in. So Cold Zero, you can see he's falling back. He got information. Bolt's the same. And Fallen is already coming for the rotate. And this is where you need to keep an eye out on him, because he used his smoke. He used his smoke straight away on the rotate to cut off the position between the big pole, I guess, and pillar and the barrels. And what that does is that allows Bolts here to focus on short, cold zero. Now look at all these guys where they are. They're all focusing into that narrow choke point, and that's what allows them to get all these fairly easy kills and an easy pistol round. You will see even better from the overview how that moment looks. So here is obviously the wall that they create with the smokes, and Kirby and MSL ideally would like to just push here, that they can put pressure on Bolts. He can't shoot towards Cat, and also all these players that are in graffiti, CT spawn, well, suddenly they have to focus on different angles and not just on the narrow one that's right here, you know, towards short and towards the side, which would obviously make it a lot more difficult for them to hold that push. And just one smoke from Fallen, having the presence of mind to know this is going to make it easier for all my teammates to actually hold the side, because he was getting smoked off on Heaven. That pretty much won him the round, of course, with hitting some good shots.
Yeah, and that's why Janko gets angry when he plays with me and I just throw my smoke at the start of the round. They can be useful and they can win rounds, absolutely. And that's something that you don't necessarily always get to catch. But my question to you, Janko, would be, you know, would this round look very different had they pushed through that smoke? Had there been the confidence or the flashbang to chase them through that smoke?
I think it's a difficult call to make that fast on the fly. I think the reasonable one is just don't go through it. Let's just all fight the other side. But that's where SK had 3 of their players. And you can also see Fallen jumps down straight away. He knows that they have good timing on the rotate and they should all just fight and help Bolts and Cold, and they can win the round. I think, if anything, it was a little bit telegraphed from North, that hit, and there was more than enough time for them to come in.
Absolutely. And with that all said, I want to make sure we've kind of covered all the bases of Overpass before we start talking about Inferno. I don't think there's anything else left to the tip of your tongues, guys.
I mean, just maybe if MIBR continues on in the tournament, perhaps this will be something, especially confidence-wise, they now feel like they can go to. They don't have to go to Inferno against teams that are much better. So I would just say to put a pin in it, and if they continue on in the tournament, remember this map, perhaps.
I think it's important to say that Bolts has been having a good series so far, barring that start to Mirage, where, you know, early on towards the B side, he was having some issues. But after that, he won 2 big clutches in the second half. Here, we've seen it on the CT side. He's actually been doing pretty well, actually, on both sides on Overpass. So that's a good sign, considering what we talked about with the potential issues within the team, and he was supposed to be replaced or not. How much confidence does the team have in him? Does he have in himself? And does he even think there's a chance that he can remain on this team? So obviously good games are going to help all of those areas, and especially now when you're facing elimination against a very solid North squad.
Yeah, and that's where I have to start probing. We've got the third map, basically becomes a best of 1 now, MIBR versus North, and the map Inferno. So let's just quickly recap some history of these teams on these maps. Now, when Inferno was first introduced, I remember North did try and make it their map. There was this whole like, yeah, it's going to be our Joker pick. We're going to be the first to get really good at it. And I think a lot of us, yourself included, Duncan, got pretty mad when they were SK constantly trying to make Inferno a thing.
Well, actually, one of the reasons I know, because at the time I asked Fallen when they kept picking it into opponents even, I said, like, why do you always pick it? Because it's one thing if it goes to the third map and you just happen to lose the decider, but sometimes they were picking it as their map, and he basically said, like, I would Overpass and trade, and we just aren't confident in them for practice, so it's not that we choose Inferno, it's all we got left. So it's definitely a positive sign if you have another map. I do feel as though, bizarrely, when they switched to the Stewie 2K lineup, Inferno actually became one of their best maps. It started to be a map that they could really play very well. Obviously, they didn't have the same problem they had with Phelps when he was over at the B site. Cold Zero still thrives when he's over in that pit. He's one of the best players in the world there. Generally, it seems like a map they have a better sense of the pacing of where to go, because you don't have to have super sick executes and everything. You can play off each other again. Obviously, Stewie 2K and Cloud9 was enjoying the map as well. I think it's much better set up for them generally.
And speaking of Stewie 2K, before we get too in-depth with Inferno, we do have a cool opportunity. Now, a lot of us at the analyst desk, you've heard our opinions, and of course the Twitter sphere as well, regarding the change that MIBR did make, changing the language, bringing in the player. And there are some changes in Counter-Strike that we get to hear even more people's opinions on. Let's check it out as we look at some behind the roster rumors.
I'd say the most surprising roster change for me was Stewie leaving our team for SK. I respect the decision, and I know why he made it, but it still never really crossed my mind that was a possibility until it happened.
Changing Taco for Stewie. I think it's very surprising that they're talking in English, and I think it's hurting them a lot right now.
SK changed Taco for Stevie 2K.
For me, it was changing Taco.
SK removing Taco.
probably Stewie 2K moving to SK.
I was in shock.
Pretty obvious it's Stewie joining SK. They changed their mother tongue from Brazilian or Portuguese to English, which I find very odd.
Taco went to Liquid, so he went like he got out from our team to went to Liquid, and our team get like a Stewie, so we have like one American in our team right nowadays, so we have like to communicate in English. This is a surprise, I mean.
Even seeing like Snacks joining Varsity Sport is really surprising as well.
But the one that sticks out the most for me is Snacks going to Mousesports.
The most surprising roster change was of course mine when I joined the Mousesports, because it's a first change for me in 4 years.
I think the most surprising was probably KRB and Magisboy. Just the way it all went down was really weird, so that's probably the one for me.
First map, CT side's not looking so hot, Stu. We can't dismiss that. But you guys were able to bring it back here on the second map and Overpass. So talk to me about some of the things that perhaps stick out to you.
I think Mirage is a well-known map for this team to kind of fail on, and we were just trying to find our way there. It wasn't pretty at the start, but we were able to find our rhythm in T-side, but we lost by 1 round or 2 rounds. And I think we're just trying to find our synchronization on that map, and we can't. So it's a hard struggle, but it's a best of 3, and we were able to bring it back on our map.
Another map, and that map is going to be Inferno. Now, Stewie, going into this third map, it's pretty much an even slate now. You guys look like you're awake now. You look like you're ready to play this game. Talk to me about your mindset going into this map.
Yeah, we're slow starters. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that by now. But on Inferno, we played against them before in practice for our boot camps. We know a little bit how they play. They know about us. So I'm expecting a pretty close game. It's going to come down to the clutches, the crucial kills, and we'll just see what happens.
So one last question I'm going to have for you here, and it's one I think that's been on everyone's mind for quite some time. It's been asked before. I'm going to ask it again. Are there still communication flaws within the team?
I wouldn't say there's communication flaws. There's sometimes when it gets really chaotic, it's really hard for them to communicate faster, and especially for me, if I communicate fast, it's hard for them to process it in their head immediately. So we got to take our time to communicate, but right now I don't think that's a problem. I think it's just we're not playing too well.
Just fundamental flaws within the game plan itself. Well, understandably so, and I do wish you guys the best of luck going into Inferno. Still, I'm going to let you get to it, and it's going to be live on 3 soon. Alex, take us into the game.
Would be my pleasure. Quite a lovely combination there. Not only do you get to hear from a plethora of different Counter-Strike faces and personalities on which change raised their eyebrows the most, you then get to see the most mentioned name, Stewie, in that MIBR jersey, and now going into that third map. A couple of thoughts from you guys. Would Stewie Taco be your #1 in answer to that question, Duncan?
Depends which way you want to go with it, because on the one hand, like SK with Taco in the lineup had already dropped off. They'd already had some really bad results. So I can definitely see on the extreme end, it didn't fix things. But I actually would agree with, well, no one said it in this one, but what usually people have said in past videos like that is the Kirby one, which is because that took a team that wasn't even considered the best, and somehow, with a move that didn't really even look like an upgrade, made them the best team in the world, and by far, so I would pick them myself.
Yeah, Nitro was the only one I heard actually mention that. One mention of the Kirby change, and I mean, look at Astralis now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all shocked Astralis even then. I liked the Rush one because he opened it. He was the first one in the video, and he thought, well, actually, Stewie leaving my team.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise.
I didn't think that was ever a possibility until it happened. Please come back.
Well, yes, and now Stewie finds himself staring down the barrel. I mean, this is an elimination game. This is where...
Yeah, but it is one where they're going to be very much comfortable. You know, Inferno is by far their best map now. You know, they're 9-2 with this lineup. On LAN, North is 4-4, 50% there. Basic math, wow.
Thanks, man, appreciate that. He's always there for us.
That's why I'm here, you know. So I think for MIBR, they're going to be super comfortable coming into this one. Yes, North has some gimmicks on this map at times. You know, they like to take banana control on the CT side and then leave 3 players there. They make it so like Mertz is there with the op far away, and both MSL and Kirby play close in the tree stack and in the little corner at the beginning of banana. So, you know, they have a couple of gimmicks like that, but Stewie saying that they practiced against them a lot means they should probably be prepared for some of the little things. North very much likes to be aggressive. They like to push down mid on the city side, you know, like all the way down, or hold from the bench, hold the second mid. So a lot of moves, but for that, they need a strong economy.
Yeah, team huddle's done, and strong economy certainly wasn't something we saw in Overpass. Perhaps that is a win condition for them. Anything to add to that list then for your prediction of choice?
I think this is going to be a really close map, but I do think that this will show you more about MIBR and whether they're in any kind of shape to do something in this tournament, because we've seen on the CT side of this map, North absolutely exploitable. They do gamble a lot, they do push a lot, they'll just stack people on a site indiscriminately. So that old SK style where you play slow and you probe, that should work. That should actually be a win condition against that, I think.
And the two players you want to keep an eye out for MIBR, for me, it's Bolt, because he plays that pit area and it's crucial. He's been known to struggle recently, I mean, in general with the team, but you know, he's been having a good series so far, and AZ plays the exact same position. He was the main reason why North was able to take down Liquid on this map. On Inferno, he was having a monster game on the CT side from that position. So probably, you know, if you're MIBR trying to find a way to at least maybe slow him down or not let him get into the game very early on.
I mean, North, yeah, they don't necessarily have a long list of scary players, but when they are feeling it, they certainly can slay. And it is time to find which team will continue here in the battle to get to the Lanxess Arena. It's by no means done. This is just a step in the right direction. Only one team will continue to play Counter-Strike here in Cologne, MIBR or North.
From all the way in South America to North, as we get on to Inferno. We were in Belo Horizonte just 2 weeks ago. Now we find ourselves in Cologne, and MIBR certainly showed well on the stage in Brazil in front of their home crowd. They want to even get in front of the crowd that they were dominant in front of last year. They've got to win this map. Inferno, and North starts on the T side.
Okay, Inferno, the ultimate decider here. Winner to the playoffs, loser goes home. One map apiece. Inferno, traditionally a third map decider. Almost every team will play this and feel comfortable on it. I would give North the slight edge from how good they've looked on their CT side recently. I think they've got some great structure and amazing utility usage, but they'll be starting on the T side right now. They've got 2 smokes here, a couple of flashbangs. What they're going right now is they'll be smoking towards the library and maybe top and middle as well, one of which has already been used, and that is indeed towards the arch side. Last day attack and Cold Zero opening things up.
Still inside of the pit. Looks back out, swings both ways. He's got so many targets to fire at. Finally finds one that has the bomb. Not a bad one to find at all. As he gets AZ, despite letting them inside of the site, he's got what matters, and he can just hold anchor, and they can hold both toward quad and front library and triangulate their opponents. Stewie's able to find Mertz. It's all on Volda with 2 HP. Gets one gifted to him, as Stewie didn't know that he was in the corner, but now everyone else does. And I can't imagine he wins this round. Don't even give him a chance for headshots. That's his only chance at it with the P250. Let's just make sure he's not moved, but we'll spot him up, take him down. MIBR now with 3 straight pistols.
Indeed. MIBR holding off the A side push there. Quick stuff between the apartments and quad. Smokes down towards arch. Flashes through, but Bolts and Cold Zero holding them off. It was just Valda left in the 3 versus 1. He gets 1 kill with the P250, but his HP was so low, didn't really stand a chance. Cold Zero. Calm stuff, good positioning, good crossfires. Did damage to the 3rd, and MP9s across the board for MIBR. You haven't seen that in quite a while. We'll see if these P250s and CZs can hold them off. And no plant came in, interesting enough. So no armor for the T side, not a force bite. So this means great news for those MP9s at this point. They should be able to mow through them.
Mertz with the smoke down. Kirby backs it to top side of alt middle. Bomb inside of the apartments. They'll want to try and explode onto the site and get a plant this time rather than dropping that inside of the pit.
Still no kills yet, but here comes the final commitment by the looks of things. Good flashbang there from the CTs. Got to hold them off and the smoke down as well, but you can see it's by design. North have given themselves a path in towards the pit at least. Problem is, remember, they have no armor right now, so even if they find a couple of kills, how do they get the bomb down with CTs is waiting on the site? They will melt without any sort of Kevlar here as the time ticks away.
Old corner. Stewie boxes, crossfire sets, MP9s, takes down Mertz, like you say, melting them. Firing into a softened target as Cole finds two more. He'll go for the pistol, close it out with a headshot. Stylish. Ricardo likes it, and they keep the lead at 2-0 and keep the momentum in doing so. No bomb plants, no early buy on the T side.
Certainly not. A lot of teams do like to force buy, especially on the T side in that second round. North not really spending that much cash at all. They want to make sure they have all their utility for the first gun round. It's coldzera getting it done again. Luckily, there was no Kevlar. Those MP9s were very effective. So, fully go here. They might be able to have a good start on the CT side of the third map. We'll see whether these Glocks and PT-50s can make any sort of a dent. I would say probably not.
Yeah, not likely.
The idea is here, you don't have to just go rushing in and use it as a redundant round. You can try and bait out some utility. They've got a kill as well. So that's going to be MSL going down, but he did get a frag.
Yeah, that got really awkward. As soon as he started spraying the smoke, it didn't get anything. It was almost out of ammo. It was like, all right, you've got like 2 seconds to run back. Couldn't get there. And with Fallen then being the only one in B, they'll overrun him. Furs rotated. Nade will do damage as well onto Kirby and AZ, thankfully, because otherwise, with B side open and having to retake that, giving them any gun at all, you absolutely give them a chance. You don't need much to hold B if you get in there cleanly enough. And they will trade off a Fur. Still don't have the bomb down, but they'll do so now. That certainly injects cash to them in the next round, and perhaps more so. MP9's in their hands now to go against armored players working together, unless they get tremendously caught off, which Kirby could do if he timed his re-peak. They should be all right. He's going to go through the smoke. They don't see him yet. Cold responds.
Pretty successful round, if you ask me, from North. They get the bomb down, 3 kills. It wasn't exactly impossible for Kiabi as well. Could have got one more, but 3-0 comes through. There is plenty of cash on the CT side. Them dropping some of those MP9s might be a blessing in disguise, as they'll get the AWP out for coldzera this time. We've been discussing this all tournament. It seems like Fallen isn't as willing to be on the AWP full-time as he usually is. It seems like they're swatching it up between Stewie, Cold, and Fallen. Furs had it a couple of times as well. So it hasn't been the usual story out of Fallen. They haven't all give it to him every single time. So we'll see how this one develops. coldzera looks towards middle right now. HE thrown as he looks towards the underpass. 3 players waiting to go towards B on the north side. Stewie and Fallen at the very top there, both with M4. Stewie takes the nade to the face. Actually waiting behind those flames. Easy. And Valda do have apartment control, but the battle continues here at Banana. Needs to be careful not to shoot each other. They still have a smoke on Stu. Fallen with a flashbang. They've got kits on 4 players here. No real damage inflicted just yet. Molotov on the corner to push CTs back, allowed them to get the very top of the Banana and check behind the sandbags. Still with the majority of the utility on the T side. 4 smokes for them. 5 flashbangs and a couple of Molotovs. There's MSL with the bomb. Now pushing those CTs back at B. They're going to focus back towards the A side. coldzera completely smoked out. So he'll fall back to join his team. You can see Fur and Bolt actually willing to take the duels here instead of playing on the bomb site.
Fur swings back, having avoided the flashbang effectively. He finds Mertz, knows that there's more to be coming, and gets to the barrel to help aid in his armor. No trade off as Boltz has gone all the way back inside of the site. Big miss for Cold. That's a problem. Now Boltz is stuck inside of the corner. Absolutely needed one on the AWP. It also opens up the library side. They'll rotate over in panic, and in doing so, very well read and a good mid-round call from MSL to go back the other way. Stewie's identified it, but he's late getting there and has a knife out.
He wanted to throw that flashbang through, barrel through the smoke and deny the plant, but Kiabi, similar ideas as he pushes in towards CT spawn and gets the really important kill there. That decides the round. I don't think the CTs can even justify attempting this retake as Bolt's now in T spawn. Fallen begins to fall back. It's the first round for North. Slow beginning as they battle for the top of Banana, like we said. Took away that bit of intel for the CTs. As soon as you push back towards the bomb site, obviously you don't know what sort of numbers are towards B. You can't really justify having one player there at that stage. And then North back towards middle, looked like a full execution towards A. Traded out a couple of kills, like you said, some key misses from coldzera. As soon as they got him alone on the site, he's calling for backup. He thinks he's about to be overwhelmed. That's when they made the great call back in towards B. Stewie's already left the bomb site. They smoke it off. Stewie tries to run through, but beaten by Kiabi. So reset potential here, probably for both teams, I would say. Everyone's going to be fully invested with the saved weaponry on the CT side. They can buy up, but there are going to be compromises with the MP9 for further. Fallen in spawn, given the AWP this time. He'll head towards B. I guess the objective at this point was then 3 at the very start, get him set up behind the barrels, and then have 4 players on A after that. Let's see if it's possible.
So the AWP ready, any top up and in a position. Nade down will certainly do some damage because they're all there. Oh, Mertz. Did that come from one nade against armor? That must have landed literally in his mouth.
Yep.
Oh, good shot. MSL checks the bags, but oversteps the mark. I don't think he realized how far up that wall he was.
I don't think he did either. You do not need to be that deep to look behind sandbags. So he offers himself up on a silver platter. It cost him his life. 5 and 4.
Tribute.
What's that?
Jennifer Lawrence reference. The Hunger Games. Don't worry about it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
Or Reddit. Whichever one you're talking about.
Don't
anyway,
talk about Reddit. You're not
it
Shroud.
Will be we watched a Shroud documentary last night.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't.
There's the life of Shroud on
Didn't
YouTube.
even know
And it's
that
like
there was
half
one.
an hour proper documentary.
I'll watch it tonight while I'm laying in bed.
Yeah.
Kierby takes down Stewie. Fallen, meanwhile, smoked off at Coffins. Allows them inside of the site. That single kill will confirm a bomb plant. I said that they're not quite planting yet. They're still running it around a bit inside of the site. They'll get to default now. Kierby will do the deed. And are they going to back off on that?
I think so. Their money's so
4-4
broken.
and they're gone.
Yeah, the thing is, they haven't. You can see that they've only got smokes. They had a couple of incendiaries, perhaps, but they've got an MP9, an AWP. They're pretty much out of position. They have got some kits, but they have the lead for now. If they went for that retake where they're likely to lose it, they just throw away all that money. So they might as well keep it up and look to the future instead of trying to take huge gambles on winning retakes and bomb sites that are notoriously difficult to get back in your favor. But there it is. Only 1 kill for Fallen there. That was the one offered to him by MSL, but they still recover and win the round. Overwhelming that B side. 4 players looking to survive as well. No one watching their exit. Terrorists probably don't fancy going hunting themselves. Their money is also quite low. That's all going to sit in the logs area. 4 players have a little party. 2 on the bounce though. MIBR save weapons again. AWP given back to Fallen. MP9 for Stewie. So still trying to recover. He won the pistol in the follow-up rounds, but remember North are looking quite good on Inferno recently. Sure, they lost to Fnatic, but that was after a really disastrous CT half. They lost 12-3 in the first and then came back. They lost, sure, but it was 16-14. But they've looked fantastic on it ever since. You see Kierby, nice and quick. He wanted to push that, might still do it, but there's so many flames and flashbangs, I think he has to concede and fall back.
Easy. Find on to Stewie. He's going to wrap back around as well and take down Furtop Coffins. The save in the last round may not matter. This time with less weapon, or less men, I should say. But a little more utility, they will try and go for it. Cold gets to the corner of Ruins. It's the same situation, only 1 less, and yet they have a better opportunity as Mertz holds on the AWP. However, he could pull that apart, especially if no smoke goes down and they walk out directly into his crosshair. Counter Molotov thrown out for him, his position in water, and he'll actually hold a much tighter angle. Flash lands, that'll allow Bolts immediately to get closer from CT. Vault is completely blind. Mertz has his vision back. Fallen finds AZ, that'll encourage the take, but Mertz is still ready. Spots it and makes no mistake. Kierby cuts off the other side of the crossfire. It's all to Cold. He's cleared out the back of the site. Little does he know as he checks over toward Emo. Good find, but no time. And it's 3-3.
It's going down as well. Bomb gets them both. Full 10 players go down. But a resounding victory there for North. That's going to completely dismantle the finances of MIBR. 3 rounds in a row for North. They've got plenty of cash, of course. So a decent attempt there by MIBR. It was a retake after losing the first 2 kills. That was a weird call. Like you said, they went for the full save and they had 4 players up before. And now, in a 5-on-3, they still went for it. It comes down to the moment where it's 2-on-1, but the round was already over. I don't think they're forcing here. Fallen's got a shotgun. The old Nova's coming out. Rare appearance from that weapon. He does find some kills. Maybe you can get some cash for now in the end of the apartments. Shotgun in hand.
Pays off. AZ's already forced off his ambitions of trying to get toward Boiler. Volda will hold there for somewhat cautiously outside of the apartment's position. First still holding up there. He's holding down the range. pump shotgun. Good find from AZ. Bomb planted over at B as they'd identified that was wide open, and therefore round gone again. So 4 now for North in a row, having not won the pistol, but with 3 bomb plants, 3 detonations, 4 bomb plants if you actually include the third round that they were unable to win, but made it very close. That gave them a little more money to go into the first gun round. It also started to whittle down MIBR's economy much sooner. So the saves bought them a bit more time. They'll be able to buy again in the next one, given that this will be a 4th round bonus, but it's impressive and encouraging for North that they've now had 5 bomb plants in a row.
Absolutely true. North, quick and concise round. All 5 players will survive. Fur keeps the shotgun. They're going to be buying up next round. Does he just hold on to the Nova? Gives it the cold Zera. He's like, you know, no matter, I can do it. I'm a bit of a specialist with the shotgun. I can make this work. Max 7. A little bit more viable. They've thrown it away. Does that mean we're not going to see it in the gun round? That'd be a bit of a shame. No, cold Zera. What's the play here? Shotgun on the ground for now. Anticipation. Are we going to see it in the gun round? It's on the floor for now. I think he's considering. That's why I'm taking the timeouts. It's like he has got the money to purchase something else. He goes with the AWP instead. So there we go. No Nova action, I'm afraid. Or for cold Zera. He actually went for a glass cannon as well. He has not got armor to go with it. That means he's very vulnerable to grenades, which we know North are fantastic at right now. Bit of tic-tac-toe action going on here. You can't just have 3 goes in a row. That seems like...
Yeah, that's cheating. What's that all about? Tic-tac-toe, what an essential game, but yet so pointless once you learn even the slightest bit of strategy.
Yeah, once you know the very basics of it, it's like no one can actually win, really.
Yeah, you have to really bait someone in hard and catch them sleeping.
4-3. 4 in a row for North. MIBR. I think actually for both of these teams, it'd be crushing not to make it to the arena. It's been a rough year for North, but they're starting to stabilize somewhat now. It seems like the tactics have come back into their gameplay instead of just relying on fundamentals. It seems that this team operates better with set pieces, solid fundamentals, slow-paced gameplay. Got some great talent within it as well. AZ's looked much better the last month or so. Valda still up and down. Sometimes has amazing performances or sometimes he drops off. Mertz, I would say he has some consistency issues, but I've been very impressed with this tournament. He's been one of my favorite players here. Less than a minute remaining at this point. Mertz will have the AWP towards mid. And cold Zera looks like, oh my god, he's gonna, I thought he was gonna rail that first shot, but baited out slightly. Timings elude him. And back towards B we go again. You're gonna see Fallen boosted up at the B side. Kiabi's already got banana control. Baited out the smoke. And AZ and Valda will hold the apartments for now. Bomb heading in their direction. So maybe just trying to force a rotation towards B. There's less than 30 seconds remaining. So drop 1 smoke in towards CT spawn. And the in-game leader, MSL, he's just trying to force a rotation. It hasn't worked at all. He got flashed off first, not taking the bait. But he can't get more than 1. So this still could work out for North. Time ticking away. Coming to 10 seconds now. Bolts needs to find multiple frags. Now cold Zera. He can win the round single-handedly if he denies the bomb here. They're trying to bait out a shot from him. They know he's got the AWP. And will they get the plant in? I think just about.
Oh, that's pretty close. Cold, you're right. They were trying to bait him out because they knew that he was the biggest problem in the equation. Good shot to find the first jumping out of the apartments. But bomb now down gives them every right to win this round. 6 points of HP. For Kjærby, 59 for Mertz, who has the AWP, so that's ultimately inconsequential if he gets shots, which he's done. Great shot from Kjærby as well. And it's now 6 in a row for North. With guess how many bomb plants? 6.
6. Well, if you are planting the ball consistently, you're doing something very correct. That means the tactics are working, you know? Like, it's all coming together nicely. The bomb's going down, you're getting post-plant situations. And you're winning those rounds, then it's going very well indeed. Another partial buy, though, from MIBR. Only won the pistol on the follow-up round so far. On the CT side of Inferno, that could be a problem. It's the CT sides of this matchup that doesn't seem to be working out at all. It's kind of strange. Almost bizarre. And we've had all CT-sided maps so far.
Yeah, no, that's a good... Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely have had CT-sided maps. I always think when a team struggles so significantly CT side, it shows the lack of communication.
Oh.
Okay, Mertz. It's fine, I'll shut up. I get the point. You want us to get...
Look where he was.
Have his attention.
It's like all the way back almost at the CT spawn area. Like went through the half wall, the corner of that wall.
Oh my God, it did too. You're right. That's through 2 walls. That's incredible. Either way, point I was going to make, it highlights communication and fundamental issues within the structure of a team, I think, when you see CT side struggle so tremendously. And I think that's fair to say about both of these teams. Cold's going to use the smoke to his advantage, try and push back through as they enter the site. They've lost track of him. I think they suspect he might still be there, but with a flash, he's able to walk back out. Good shot from Mertz, because AK picked up, AWP misses, he goes down as well, and that's 3 quick kills for Cold that could have easily taken the round away. Fur wants to strike next. Might deny the bomb as well, he does, but found by Volda 1 second too late to save his teammate. They still win out the round as AZ responds, and 6-3. Which is what I called last round, my mistake.
Indeed. Well, there we go. It's the CZ of Cold Zera that almost sabotages everything, but Mertz holds his nerve there. Missed that shot, it's round over. Cold Zera is going to take everyone. But he saves the day again. We'll get into round number 10 now. Money finally back in favor for MIBR. They get the 4 rifles, the AWP, 1 defuse kit. Utility not fully complete, but good enough. So throwing the Molotov at the very start to stop any CT pushes. Deny any AWP prowess at the very top. Same story for that incendiary towards the apartment stairs. Just to buy Bolt a little bit more time. Hold them off from their default. And that will push Mertz back somewhat. KRB aware of the presence towards the apartments and flashes off and just decides to fall back. I'd say that means they're going back towards B. That's where they found a lot of success so far. Fallen and Stewie holding on. Stewie's on 2 and 9. He's the B player. That's where they keep going. Fallen 8 and 5. Better, but they've lost almost every single round that ends up towards the B bomb site. Still haven't found anything since the pistol follow-up rounds.
All in wants another shot, another silver platter. MSL's not going to check the corner. This AZ, you go. You seem to know where to stand, or does he? Walks out. Fallen still finds him. Another shot before they get through the smoke, and he's not quite ready when they arrive. As MSL gets Stewie down as well. That site open, and look at KRB. Good response and reaction from Fur to be ready for him to arrive. But either way, they're already going for a save. So we talked about bomb plants. Got denied in the last round. They still were able to win it. This becomes their 7th in the half.
B-bomb side again. Stewie and Fallen can't do much more than 1 frag each. But to be fair, the execution from North is pretty brutal. You can see, what, 3 smokes on the site. Flashes are just the main problem. There was a nice little setup. Fallen got 1, but he has no backup really from Stewie at that point. They're playing almost 2 separate games because Fallen's
back
up
over there maybe.
Fallen's right up close and personal here on the corner, and Stewie's right back by Shadow, getting flashed in the face. He can't even back him up or throw utility. He's got none left. So Fallen goes down with just 1 kill, and then Stewie's fully blind, stuck at the back, fully flashed. It's just not even got a chance. They need to synergize a little bit better. I think maybe 2 rifles on that side of the map would be better off for them, or at least get Fallen maybe established at the very top, try and get 3 players at the start. What they're doing right now is, it seems like the worst of both worlds. There's no relentless aggression or great teamwork on the B side. It seems like 2 very solo interactions, but
Fur's going with them this time.
Yeah, so they're going to try and change things up. They've got 5 rifles. I think that's going to actually be better for them. And they're going to try and challenge a little bit more. Stewie realizes what they have to do, but he's having a nightmare game at 2 and 11 now. First one to go down, no trade. They're held off by the Flames. That's the problem you have when you try and force the issue through a Molotov. Fallen still gets 1.
Oh, he's
Good
lucky
smoke.
that Molotov lasted as long as it did. I thought he was going to get caught with the smoke in his hand, so you're right. Good smoke now buys a bit more time, but it does allow the bomb to be recovered. Stewie cannot get any dominance inside of Banana at all. So 4 on 4, and they're at least forced to reconsider this time, North. So with 7 rounds, they get toward top mid instead. Finally, we'll see some A activity.
You are right. Yeah, Stewie really can't get going there. Cold Zera looking to hold them off. He has had an okay game so far. Some great opportunities, some of them not fully realized. Flashbang slightly missed there, but still probably fine. 3 versus 4, and Bolts, great positioning.
Needs to save some ammo and be ready for his left side because AZ is now cleared. Cold in the site. Good play, good awareness, good read. Nade for some further damage. Goes just by the head of Alda, but that bullet certainly didn't. I think it might have got him through the wall to put him down to 7 HP. Still gets a bomb plant. It's been the story of each and every round almost, it seems. As Valda smokes off, he wants to hold one single angle. They'll work together to try and find him, and him making noise will certainly reveal where he is. Flash is high, tries to isolate the pit, had no idea Fur was up that close.
Nice idea. With low HP, drops the smoke to buy himself a little bit more time. Bolts played that very well indeed. Didn't overcommit, even though he was planting. He's like, we've got to win this round. I can't try and deny it if he baits me out. And fakes it. Goes down to the 1 versus 1. My teammate's going to struggle to stay alive as long as possible. Lets Fur get nice and close. And when he finally commits to the kill, they're both there waiting for him. That's the first gun round in favor of MIBR.
Yeah.
A real nightmare for them so far.
And it took the time to run around and find all extra utility that was on the ground as well as guns before defusing that bomb. But that also points out what I'm about to, that having that be their first gun round after what was 7 rounds in a row against them, obviously this has the possibility to be a reset. So they wanted to save money where they could.
Quite a dramatic one is that. So they will obviously want to, go around and salvage anything they could from the ground. Have fallen on the FAMAS again, Matt. It seems like that's a real common outcome this tournament. He maybe just isn't feeling it right now. And coldzera just picking up the slack.
And even with that, Fallen the last 2 rounds, even without the AWP, has still stayed toward B. It used to be that Fallen would only play B with the op, but Fur used to be the dominant player at Banana. So, yeah, a lot of change on this CT side.
Yeah, I guess he's just Banana can be such a cruel mistress, especially you've got players that like to be aggressive. That was obviously the problem when Phelps and Fur used to play it together. You had 2 very aggressive guys at it all the time, and it was quite readable. I would say they're almost too passive now, is the problem. They don't seem to play off each other, and they're very passive as well. That's been a massive issue for them, but let's see whether they can pick things up.
I'll give a bit of credit to North as well, though, because they put 3 there last round and tried to get the deep smoke. Even then, Stewie still couldn't get position. They're being relentless and trying to make sure they at least get to the bottom and can fight the corner.
Well, they've boosted Stewie up on new boxes. Means he can avoid flashbangs very well. Good spray attempt there. Did plenty of damage towards Kiabi, but now, oh, look, all the flames come through. Stewie has to use his smoke. Needs multiple frags. He has been quiet this game so far. Gets 1 kill. Smoked off for now, and he's going to do major damage here. That's more like it from Stewie 2K. As Fallen comes in to mop up the remaining terrorist players. 3 kills for him, playing off each other this time, and actually taking some aggro from each other, using the smokes effectively. And you can see how much better that was. Actually using his more traditional setup there. Boosted at the start. Got a little bit too flashed and exposed. Dropped down. Extinguished the Molotov at his feet. And at that point, Fallen able to take so much of the attention away for him. As you can see there, everyone's looking at Fallen. Mertz takes him down at the end, but cleanup duty had already began. 2 rounds in a row for MIBR. Can still win the half at this point if they go to a double AWP setup. It's Stewie and coldzera on the AWPs.
That's interesting. So again, Fallen not confident on it this map. He pointed it out. Stewie doesn't land. Fallen throws the supporting flash to allow him back inside of the site. They'll smoke off early. 1:30 and 1 further smoke gone. They want to go through it. Forget the smokes. Mertz is in. His AWP in position, but can't find Stewie. Tries to bait him out with a shot from water, but that's not going to work as Stewie holds from new box and makes up for the missed shot. And the opening opportunity, Fallen trying to reload. And Mertz, as he seems to often do, pushes through with the AWP to find him and take him down. Now he's got control from Ruins, but good identification of that from Cold. 2 versus 2, an AWP and an M4 on the retakes, both with kits. Kirby, speaking of AWPs though, has picked up Mertz, or rather I think Stewie's actually in this case, because he went down at new box and will hold towards CT. This is the first shot toward Ruins, but makes up for it immediately after. Burns for the man who he took down, and Bolt's never considered AZ to be in water.
AZ, it almost felt like that was going to fall apart with the initial few bullets missing out there. Stewie hits a few with the AWP, but still wasn't quite enough, and that might be a very problematic position for them to be in now. Up again for coldzera. They are going to force buy here. Need these last 2 rounds. I think this force buy is justified. They want to get these last 2. They can afford an AWP and 3 rifles, so why not? Just Stewie's on the pistol. Bolt, 5 kills, 5 deaths. He's had to save a lot. As Valdo goes gunning in with the MAC-10, gets the initial dink off. It's very chaotic here. You can see the CTs trying to change their stance. And Fallen now needs at least 2 kills here. Gonna get that. Will he get taken out eventually? He will. 2 versus 2 ensues. Presumably, they'll go in towards B, but they're just trying to smoke it off. and suggests they're falling back towards A. Bolts will hold strong. He won't let that happen. And luckily for North, they think better of it and just plant at B. They've got 3 kills at B. Why would you go back towards A? I couldn't tell. You're just going to find transitioning CTs and potentially lose a player. You've got a smoke down. You should plant B, which is what they've done. 2-on-2. No kits available. Do they save the AWP and the M4 for the last round? Or do they absolutely go for it? Looks like they will. Flash is in. Molotov as well, though. That's going to deny access. Same with that one, but Calvi can't quite throw it off. This is going to get very tense now. coldzera hits a shot. Remember, no kits right now. I don't think they have even time to defuse at this point.
Oh, knife.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I was going to say he was trying to get there as quickly as he could, but no time, and therefore we go 9-5, having now 2 rounds bounce back the way of North. This puts us into round 15, where there's not a lot of money available to MIBR, so fortunate that they managed to keep 2 players alive, one of which is an AWP. Who's going to get the AWP this time? I imagine Cole just keeps it. So Bolts manages to get an AK, but it's MP9s and a UMP otherwise, other than those 2 guns that were carried over.
Looking for double digits. North up against the AWP again. That was obviously saved in the previous round, and the AK-47, 3 SMGs to go with them. After winning the pistol and finding initial 3-0, this has been an absolute nightmare. But remember, it's the T sides that have found all the rounds to both of these teams. And MSL and Co. Fast approach towards A. I really have enjoyed the calling of MSL today. It seems right, almost spot on. As back and forth we go. coldzera, last player at A for now. Will he be able to find the shots required? The smokes deny him any sort of access. At least for a second, the smoke's not ideal. North weren't aware of it, but it's now holding towards the graveyard. 3-on-3 bomb planting in not the most ideal situation, and it's going to be easy to jump on the site with the MP9 doing a ton of damage here.
Ooh, good find from Mertz. Still inside a graveyard. Graveyard, he's got 4 HP. Finally, Fur gets an angle onto him. He was a bit timid in doing so, had to play the boxes correctly, and Valda, with his head exposed, trying to see inside of the site, gets taken care of. So they pull the round back just barely, give themselves a fighting chance, 9-6. And as you pointed out, this has been a very T-sided series, and that both teams are struggling, CT, so this isn't done by any means.
Oh, no, definitely not, especially in a 9-6 scoreline. If it was like 11-4, I'd say it probably is, but...
Yeah, we've seen 2 teams attempt comebacks and come close to highlight what we just said about that side, but you're right, no one has yet.
Some rock tunes for you here, as it is halftime. We'll be swapping things over. Now MIBR will try their hand at the T side, but remember, I think North have looked fantastic on their CT forces here throughout this tournament. I think that's apart from that one game where they struggled as Fnatic, once they went back and watched that demo and kind of changed things up a bit, their grenade usage is spot on, but they're definitely a team that relies on a decent start, I would say. They can win the pistol here and extend their lead. I would say it probably is a lock-in for North, but if MIBR can do it and grind this game out, reset the money a few times, we know how powerful coldzera can be on the T-side of Inferno, especially his clutch potential is astronomical. He really is the shining light on this particular map. I wouldn't say MIBR are an amazing Inferno team, but coldzera is a godlike Inferno player, so they've got that in their wheelhouse at least.
Anything to rely on. Sounds like a deal to me. Mertz will get inside. Oh my goodness, a boiler, and they had no idea. Good first shot. It was clean. It was easy. But great response from Cold, therefore, to bring it back to a 4-on-4 instantly with 1:30 to play with. Got tagged, so Mertz got another shot off before going down. USP, he'll swap over to Cold as he jumps up and gets inside of the boiler position, and now they'll reconsider. Minute to work with, lots of time. 2 smokes, by the way. They went very utility heavy, so given that they've thrown one to forward library, suggests to me they want to try and segregate the A site. AZ was hoping there would be a gap in it. Tried to crouch down and look through, can't, makes a lot of noise backing off, so they know he was there. Flash out, Bolts goes back through, and can't spot it yet. With Valda winning out on Fallen, yeah, Bomb's gonna go back. Problem is, this is Bolts alone. no one's with him yet in Banana. So if he gets found right now and drops that bomb, they could have problems. Cold, thankfully, is in tow, but even still, it's going to buy a lot of time with 30 seconds, and they have to clear the back of the site. Stewie starts to look that direction, knowing that MSL was there somewhere. They haven't spotted the player at Ruins. Flashbang's going to just destroy Stewie with any chance of time on his side. Good find from Cold. Still a chance to get it down, but just barely. They have to get away from AZ as well. Stewie gets MSL, but they have to turn and look back to CC, and while they do so, there's also a player working in from Banana. Time's gone.
Oh my goodness, what an absolute calamity of a round.
Doesn't make sense for Bolts to go alone like that.
Yeah, well, you said it as well. The moment he committed to that push alone, if he did go down, it was an absolute disaster. And as soon as he drops the bomb in no man's land as well, CT spawn, where the CT's a new box, he's got direct vision on it. Sure, Cold Zero is fighting valiantly there to make it possible. But then as soon as he gets himself locked in, AZ didn't get the kill, but he did. He got his eventually. Initially, he did like, I think 80 damage to Cold Zero, so he couldn't actually leave the garden position. And at that point, there was no time. Even if he got out of there, it was 10 seconds, and the round falls apart. Double digits for North now. They're going to have 2 rifles, 3 SMGs against the 4 spy here of the Brazilians. For CZ in the apartments here, looking for the first pick. He's going to be checking every corner, shoulder peeking where he can, trying to get the intel, then strike with the CZ. They've got 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs, and a Molotov. No real map control yet, apart from the apartments, but MSL. We've seen a lot of rounds from him on Inferno now. Loves to be aggressive on B, sometimes alone. The MP7, much more prevalent SMG since it's, I guess, buff. When a price reduction came in, it was $1,700. Now $1,500 to go more in line with the rest of the SMGs. It wasn't really clear why it cost a lot more. There we go, Cold Zero. Deadly with this Deagle.
Oh, good call, Henry. Well said. Certainly came true and came to fruition immediately. They'll cover the bomb this time and head towards spawn again. It's Bolts that's in the same position he went down last time, and in a similar situation that he's alone. Cold's a little bit closer, but they've already cleared out one inside of the site directly, and it's just MSL to find. They'll make amends for the last round.
And here we go. This will be a close finish, probably all the rounds, as MIBR steal the momentum back after winning the pistol. We thought the 3-0 would come in. So SK won the pistol in the first half, found 3-0. They lost the pistol in the second, but they've managed to get the force by in the second. Will this be the start of the comeback now? There is a force in response from North. CZ Deagles for them. 4 smokes. They'll have to play as like a gun round. Nothing too special, I'd imagine. No stacks going in, no boost. Just going to try and use the smokes and hope mistakes are made by the MIBR side.
Down right side. Burr swinging. Can't do anything about Vold up on top of the pallets, but they'll get the trade off of it. So far, so good, and the trade will suffice. Better still, they find Mertz immediately after, despite his Deagle firing a numerous amount of shots towards Stewie. He only gets hit twice, down to 54. As AZ ducks inside of the corner of Pits, he's able to turn it around and find Stewie. Hang on, because the CTs are starting to get kills. Carby, the most recent of which, but Bolts, having gone down to 27, has done well to find him in return, all on to AZ. Bolts wants to smoke himself off. Bomb, meanwhile, is running to B. In the event that Bolts on low HP went down, it would still be fine, but he gets the kill nonetheless, and we are at 10-8. We said at 9-6 is certainly possible, given the CT-sided woes of this series.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And MIBR, strong T side. We'll see whether there'll be enough here, as the full eco will come in for the Danes. Just USPs. I don't think any money will be spent this round. I know KRB likes to splash the cash. Not going to spend anything. So full eco. Any sort of stack. A lot of teams like to have 5 pistols to B. Hope for the best. See what happens. Hope a mistake is made. Doesn't look like that'll be happening just yet. Well, there is 4 players there. Making their way over. Little Mertz coming over as well.
Still wanting to work his way in. Little Mertz. He's actually a pretty tall dude.
Yeah, he's actually taller than me, and I'm 6'1", so he's not small by any account, but there we go. It sounded nice, Little Mertz.
It did, yeah, it did. Although he might take offense to it and stare you down in the elevator. MSL, Mertz, each getting kills, but it's Fur and Fur. It's good to dynamic triple team right there from Fur as he gets the pistol out and finds his fourth as well.
Not bad, not bad. 10-9, and MIBR looking to tie things up here. We've got a game on our hands as the pause comes in, I assume, by MSL. He loves the timeout for farming that cash. That is quite a stylish sequence from him.
Yeah. I thought he was asleep when we snapped that, the way his eyes were closed.
Yeah.
He's not even awake and he did that.
He's playing well. He had 28 kills at the end of Overpass.
Yeah, he ended, I think, with 25 as well. I have to think about that. No, 23 on Mirage. 18 in the second half, however. So only 5 in the first half. Ever since then, he's been really good.
We'll look at the overall score. We did say Cold Zero, great Inferno player, 23 kills, 9 deaths. It's Stewie and Fallen that struggle towards B, but starting to get it back now. Bolts, not so much, 8 and 8. Stewie, 11. Fur and Fallen both on 15 at the top. It's actually pretty, well, very equal on the north side. 13 for KRB and AZ, 11 for MSL and Mertz, and Vada on 10. So no one really significantly dropping off there. But yeah, like we said, anyone's game now. Flashbang from Stewie to allow his teammates to get access to their Molotov towards the car. Big round here in terms of the overall scoreline and indeed the money. North, fourth stage lost bonus, they lose this one, but haven't got any residual cash at all. And no kits, Mertz, Glass Cannon, AWP. AZ and Valda, 1 minute 25 of no utility whatsoever.
First drops off the window. Go back through toward the underpass to B as a result of evidence toward A that was not what they liked. That drop off the window to regroup means all 5 players are in that direction. Third man going to be rotating around to KRB to join Mertz at B. Stewie behind smoke, no boost as of yet. Additional smoke deployed as well, and that was bounced off the yellow house. So that should indicate one towards CT and a boost indeed for KRB. Yellow house reminiscent of Vlad Dracula in Sigashura. It looks almost like his childhood home. Nonetheless, KRB gets Stewie. It's Mertz that's gone down immediately beforehand, though, so the op gone from the site and a smoke down toward Ruins. Luckily, they've got MSL very quickly on the flank and finds Fur, who was obligated and looking that direction and holding Banana. A nice execution from Cold, but even then, that's straight in as AZ finds another, and Cold goes down after Valda was found by Cold. So it's back and forth. On to Bolts, however, with 36 HP. Bomb planted, but nothing he can do. They found him in emo. They cleared all other angles.
Great work by AZ there. Aggressive and in charge as he comes in from Banana. Spraying everyone down in his path, trading out kills of his teammates. Gets 3 in total. Bolt left in a 2 versus 1. Hasn't exactly looked compelling on Inferno and didn't really make a dent in the 2 versus 1 at all. 11-9 as they edge forward. North needed that, like we said before. Their money was about to fall apart. That was MIBR going for one of their classic B executions. We know they are very good at those. It's one of the calling cards of their T-side play. Molotovs to going towards the emo position and towards new boxes. Smoke some coffins and CT spawn. Flashes over and send players in as the flashes explode. Can be very difficult to hold on to, but North have done it. Still another buy here from MIBR. You can see with the nades, money starting to be whittled down, but frags still coming in thick and fast. AZ dropped this time by Stewie, but Fur could be looking to offer it back. Nice work, great flashbang, good teamwork happening there.
Stewie forced off at the stairs by a deep Molotov. Reset potential on the cards as MIBR with a 2-minute advantage. Want to try and bring this into a tie situation. Would be 11-10, and then with the money as it were, potentially 11-11. I'm getting ahead of myself because there was a kill from Volda that brought it close, but as soon as the bomb went down and Stewie found MSL, it's now just Volda remaining, and he might want to consider holding on to this M4. They're already searching for him to disallow it. Stewie spots him in the stairwell toward Mona Lisa. Volda manages to at least get the headshot. Grab the AK if you really wanted.
Another round from MIBR back and forth we go. Valda trying to hold on to his AK. He has been spotted, though I don't think it'll be happening. But we'll take him down. We are going to go the full distance here, and I love it. It's not clear who's going to be coming out on top. Doesn't seem to matter. It's a CT-sided map. As now, it will be an eco for North. They're going to take a pause and see what they can do with this full eco. Round 22. Not much being said over there. This is the coach giving some insight to what he's seen so far. Marcel deciding with his teammates where they want to go with these pistols and if they're going to buy anything. They've got a CZ and a Deagle so far, as you can see at the bottom. One smoke. So I guess they could smoke T steps and try and push 5 players down B, something like that. I'm not sure. Not really too much you can do with 3 USPs and a Deagle. Coach Ave just backing him up. Was Rugger the coach of this team for the longest of time?
Knockout match as well, keep in mind.
Yes.
So not only fighting for that playoff spot, but just to stay alive in this event. Lower bracket between these two. Success to get toward top mid with the nades. That'll push AZ back, but Valda's got a boost on the opposing side. So I say top mid, I meant toward Boiler, excuse me, but still that's an inch closer as AZ goes back up and Stewie takes him down. They'll stick to the boost, they'll commit to it. Just to point out, I'll have a chance, Henry, as well. In the equivalent side of this Group B lower bracket, Renegades and Big are tied 1-1, but Renegades currently have an 11-8 lead.
On what map?
Couldn't tell you that, I'll let you know in a second.
Okay.
But Valda's still in the boost, finds one. Now they know they're both there, but they drop off. No response to it, so they actually get away in a 4 versus 4. And they'll add to that Kirby with a Deagle, and nearly gets away with another toward Cold. Hit him, but not in the head, so he goes down to 58. Still a 3 versus 3. Getting awkward as Fallen at least finds Mertz to control the situation, but Valda's burrowed back inside of the site. He's not on the corner box, he's behind it. In hopes that they'll check the corner, and perhaps not see him when they go for the plant, if they can buy enough time. That could mean denying the bomb. I think Boltz did just barely spot him as he jumped down. Nothing he can do. He's desperate. I say nothing he can do. He's just got 2 dinks. No, 1 on Boltz and further damage to Cold, who was behind him. Remember, he was already damaged, so he's giving MSL a chance, who's got an AK as well, keep in mind.
It's going to be a very tricky procedure here. Flashbangs are good as well. They seem to be aware of the prospect of him being close by, and Cold Zero finishes things off. So there we go. 11-11 as CT's still had a pretty successful eco there. Some nice shots coming in for the Deagles. Round 23, and it looks like another eco for the north side.
That map, or excuse me, that match is on the same map. It's also on Inferno.
And Inferno makes sense. It's always the decider, isn't it? Because a lot of teams are happy to play. No one's really an Inferno specialist.
It's a great map for that. It always has been.
Yeah.
Some of the most epic games, especially in 2018. You look at the FaZe and Cloud9, or FaZe anyone, really. The amount of times they went in overtime on this map.
Yeah.
Came on this. Totally bounced in behind the sandbags. Stewie will go all the way beyond the barrels. Double Molotov, in fact, one in front, one behind. Completely flavors out anywhere in the corner. A couple of shots from the pistols down mid, but that won't amount to much as MIBR looks to take a lead. All T sides in this series.
Absolutely. Currently 5-2 in favor of MIBR in the second half. Full eco again. Just PT50s. And a couple of USPs, 1 flashbang as they go contact towards middle to 5-man B stack again. Making this plant A here. No problem at all. That's pretty much round guaranteed now. So MIBR will steal the lead back. Did say they are known to have a great T side here. And Cold Zera with 28 frags. Like we said, he is an Inferno specialist. Seems to always be the shining beacon for them. Especially when some of his teammates haven't showed up for this one. So Bolt's 8 and 10. Been on 8 for a longer time now. Let's have a look how long he's been there for. Yeah, he's had 3 kills this half and hasn't fragged in the last 5 rounds. But still, is the rounds they're winning, so it's not a huge deal. PT50's not going to find much here at all. Not really worth feeding the MIBR players. They're just going to hold up towards B. Could be one of those rare rounds where everyone survives.
Could be. Say that, and then it all changes.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies, yeah, specifically on one team so far. It's just AZ and Volta left. They will at least get away. But it's now MIBR in the lead. 12-11, first lead they've had in this game. Better late than never. I say first lead, they actually won the pistol, excuse me. So it was when the guns came out that things got awkward. But first in a while, nonetheless. Cold Zero continues to lead the way. 29 kills, 10 further than anyone on his team. And second on his team is second in the server, so 10 more than anyone. Mertz with the op is going to go to mid this time. A little bit late to get there. Does he go wide? Okay, he didn't. The flash actually deterred him. I think he was planning on actually committing to that peak.
Oh, we'll see whether he can do anything with it now. Smoked off. MSL and Kiabi, as ever, trying to push down B. MSL will have the rifle this time. Loves to drop that incendiary. Same smoke as well. Spam through, push the T's back, and just have absolute control of B, and then leave either himself or Kiabi there alone. It does also mean MIBR will have to use utility to try and get that position in their favor. Either way, MSL joining Mertz now at Arch. He'll be sitting in garbage, and Mertz will be on the corner with the AWP. The idea is he takes a shot, hopefully finds a kill, falls back, retreats, and they go to chase him, and then MSL can spray him all down. But that smoke does slow things down for a while. They might want to boost behind him, I'm not sure. There's a slight gap there for Mertz. So he's just looking towards Boiler right now, see if he can catch anyone out.
Kiabi continuing to jump and look for information. He'll get it by being blinded, and therefore fall off the site. Stewie starts to take the ground in which he was struggling to contain on the CT side. He was really, as we pointed out, they were really, I shouldn't just highlight Stewie, but MIBR was certainly struggling to get banana control. They've got it this time on the T side. They're already inside of the site. Stewie making contact. MSL pushes through. He identifies that, and there was, although Kiabi spotting Stewie, a bit of lapse in judgment on the communication, and MSL didn't turn around fast enough. Stewie gets both. Back over toward A, however. AZ has gotten bolts. It's the only kill so far for the Danes. He'll sit Valda in the corner, and again, try and deny it. They spotted him just barely in time. You're right, that could have been very awkward. I think even if he got that kill, there was so many players around, there's nowhere to hide.
He just had to time it to perfection. He had to let them plant for like 3 seconds, then kill him, then and try and hide, I guess. That's all he could have really done. But there was a chance, a slight chance. But a great work by Stewie. He gets both kills. This second one, very impressive. More like it from him. 13-11, another eco for North. That's been the problem with all these CT halves. The finances are just crippled the entire time in every single round. And it feels like the CTs have had to eco on both occasions throughout this series. So we'll just see Deagles now, CZ's Valda with a little bit of Kevlar there. And the CZ, of course. 2 flashes. See if they can steal one of these rounds away. Valda's going to take a nade to the face and some bullets to the chest with the second kill. Yeah, this is pretty clinical stuff now from MIBR as they find round number 14. This is the third and final map to decide who goes to the playoffs, who's going home. It's looking like MIBR have a substantial lead at this point. It's going to take a lot from the Danes to get back into this.
Absolutely. 2 rounds to go for MIBR to move forward in the event to send North home. They have looked better this event. Even if they do go home here, they have looked better. MSL's face says it all. They certainly won't be content with that. But at least there's improvement. Ricardo staying very silent on the other side, despite they're in a timeout.
He's like, you guys are doing a good job right now. Keep doing that. Keep killing everyone.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Just keep killing absolutely everyone. Has he hit the 30 bomb yet? Cold Zero. He has 31 and 10. So I'm glad we pointed it out at the start. He always seems to be an absolute monster on this particular map. I've never been that convinced by MIBR on this in general, but he always seems to pull out these sort of performances when they need them. 5 AKs, no AWPs on the T side. We haven't seen much AWPing from Fallen this series, to be fair, so makes sense. Stewie surely goes down here. Nice adjustment from Mertz this time, not towards middle, operating towards that half wall. It's the first shot. Now he can be left out alone, presumably. That's what I'd be doing. And indeed, MSL just going to be giving him a smoke and maybe boosting him up before he leaves. I'm not sure. Just got to make sure it's completely clear. Maybe they weren't 100% sure. There he goes. He wants to get up on the half wall now. I think he's up. So one more round for series point. Playoff point.
Down the hallway at the apartments, it's on the railing outside that AZ's perched. Keep in mind, you can see it on the right. They also have a player inside of the graveyard stairs who will remain out of vision and silent until he's required. He might be required earlier rather than later because AZ's going to go down. Volta has poked up. He's gotten one shot onto Burr. He'll follow it. He's still got control of the angle, but Fallen's got the better shot. What a shot from Cold.
Wow, that was absolutely beautiful from him. You can see them using the communication, trying to work out where the CTs are. 20 seconds remaining though. Mertz now on the rifle. No AWP. Edges his way in. The bomb goes down. Surely going to get this kill. Cold Zero low HP. He could actually win this. One more kill will do it, but Fallen holds strong. You can see what it means to them. They've got 4 match points in the bag. Fist bumps coming through.
I don't think Mertz identified that he did so much damage as he was crouching back down. He could have easily held that spray, but he was trying to bait out the shots, wrap him around the box. You're right, he very nearly could win that as he snuck through. That shot from Cold was exceptional. Takes out MSL immediately.
32 kills now. And now you can see the pressure being applied. They've got to buy 4 in a row required. Scouts, MP7s, M4s, no kits. Mertz, no utility. I said he was the absolute MVP of map number 1. 13 kills to his name here. And 22 deaths. Up and down series for him. For 23. It's been pretty solid throughout. And this is the round that finishes it all off against the Scouts, the SMG. No kits. North need a clean one here.
For all the way back down to the doorway. Spots Volta, but can't do anything of it. That spot is certainly menacing.
Yeah, ideally want to be flashing towards the top of middle / quad before peeking out there, but yes, it's unlucky. It's a position that's used maybe once a half. You saw him flick up, definitely was giving himself a fighting chance. Does a lot of damage towards Bowder. MSL takes a few stray bullets there through the smoke. They have the man advantage for now. 5 and 4. Setup. Looks like it will be finishing up towards B. 2 smokes available, only 1 Molotov. Actually make it 2. Fallen and Cold Zero both can deploy those. MSL boosted up. He knows the smoke will be coming there any second. They've got no fallback strategy, but the CTs don't know it. They haven't probed for any sort of intel whatsoever towards A. 2 players here. There's the smoke. Senderies go through. Nade lands on MSL. Means they come around and pre-fire it. He's absolutely done for. He's got a flash now. Does he have any chance?
He's bought himself time. That flash is going to catch out Stewie, but he can't get it with the MP7. Didn't want to overstep the mark either and fall off the boost. And that leaves Stewie alive to not only kill him, but to take down KRB as well. A 3 versus 3 with 19 seconds. Mertz does not have an AWP, but he'll try and fire through the coffins either way. Can't collect on Cold. That might be enough, as MIBR desperate to hold off. Equally, if not more desperate, is North to get back in. Good shot from Mertz, the head clean off of Cold. As Fallen works back around, AZ shuts him down. It's just on Stewie, but that bomb continues to tick. No kit as of yet. Stewie finds one. They know where he is. Low HP, but AZ hits the shot.
They should have it.
That's definitely, oh, it's close. I think they do. I think it's not far enough up. I've been trying to learn the graphic well enough to make the difference, but they just barely got the defuse, and we go one further round at 15 to 12.
Very close. Stewie 2K, almost synonymous with MIBR finishes these days, seems to be getting amazing clutches to close out their big games recently, especially over in Brazil. But not going to be happening here. Good effort, took down Mertz, but couldn't find the initial killing blow in the 2 versus 1. And we go a little bit deeper here, but 2 players survive in the previous round for North, but money's still a problem. They at least have 5 rifles this time. 2 AKs for AZ and Valda. Get another bite of the cherry here. They're so far away from breaking the money of MIBR. I'm not sure this is going to be doable for them, but still, just 3 now. So on the CT side, definitely possible on paper. KRB going to be flashed over, and now they've actually successfully got the banana control for the CT side.
KRB burrows his way in toward the tree. Meanwhile, It's cold out in middle that's allowing Fallen to do the early work toward the top of mid to see if he could spot anyone. Oh, Molotov thrown in. Okay, that was from Cold. I was flying around in third person. I saw it land. I thought that was a standard Molotov thrown by the CTs rather than Cold himself. That could have been costly given his teammate was already in that position, but Kerry does get away with it. He crosses back over on 68. Fur flashing himself out, flashes himself as he walks out. Thankfully, his teammate's already on top mid. Could call that it was clear. As Cold now holds off the angle. It's a rotation from Kjærby. B is wide open, but it's a commitment toward Arch. They're going to try and push through. And MSL with Kjærby have a good crossfire on this. So far, they're not getting anywhere, but a good trade-off by Fallen as he doubles up to get MSL. Has opened up the site with 26, and he with the bomb. He can run it to B. As Cold holds off rotations. It's Valda that needs to get him back, and will. But the round might be decided. Oh, Fallen's come back. And he's actually somehow come back to slip by Mertz, and Stewie getting that kill. It's going to work. If he was caught in transition coming back the other direction, this round would already be over in favor of North, but he gets away with it.
Great teamwork so far. MIBR, this should be it. Mertz with another 2 versus 1, uses the Fallen Incendiary against him. It's not going to flush anyone out, and they know exactly where he is. This shouldn't be possible if they play this correctly. He'll do everything he can pre-firing. It's getting desperate as the seconds just slip by. He's running out of time here. Surely it's not going to be possible, and there it is. We say goodbye to North, and congratulations to MIBR. They are going to the arena here. Wasn't the prettiest best of 3 map, but they got through it. Inferno looked pretty solid, especially in the second half.
Well, with that, I would go to the admins again, but I think the analysts would rather be the ones to speak. We'll send it back downstairs to the desk with Alex and the boys.
One more step now for MIBR before they see the Lanxess Arena, the lower bracket round 3. The winner of Big versus Renegades will be their opponent. That game's going on right now on the B stream, so if you want to go check that one out, if you've got a Big jersey in your closet, go ahead and grab it and go ahead and tune in to see how that one goes down before we see how MIBR's opponent will look. Joining me though, Thorin and YNK, and we do have to break this one down. And God damn, every single time we feel like we come back from a North game, we sit there and we're exhausted after watching probably 6-7 rounds of them trying to claw back in or trying to close out. It's, no matter which way you cut it, these games don't end easily, whichever side North are on.
Absolutely, they know how to grind. That's one thing you have to always give credit to these teams for. In this particular game, though, like for me, the big difference maker is just Cold Zero, quite frankly. I mean, there's a reason why the guy had 30+ kills every single time, whether it was lurking on the T side, whether it was holding a sight on CT. It's just impossible to get to any of his spots.
I noticed the same, and it seemed to me this is a recurring theme, right? Like Inferno, Cold Zero, sometimes he always has a good game. So I looked it up. His stats online in the last 3 months, he's the fifth best player in the world on Inferno. The guys ahead of him are Magis, Glaive, and Device. Obviously, Astralis beating everyone, so they're doing very well. And Simple, obviously, the best player in the world. And that's it. After them, it's Cold. And it's nowhere near, like when you look at his stats, like in general on all the maps, he's, I think, in the top 15 or top 20, something along those lines, because they've obviously been struggling as a team. But yeah, 100%. When it comes to Inferno, he's definitely one of the guys, not just who has the best stats, but has the most impact as well. You see how time and time again on the CT side, he's on that box or towards the side, gets good kills. On the T side, with the lurks and some of those mid-round kills, he really makes this map the best one for MIBR.
And his stats are crazy. 11 rounds, he had a multi-kill. 11 rounds, 2+ kills. That's crazy. You haven't seen a stat like that in some time. We do have an interview standing by, and we're going to go ahead and seize this opportunity. Don't want to keep him waiting. It is good Fallen or bad Fallen? We'll find out as he's a step closer to the arena.
An incredible series here. Great scenes in ESL One Cologne. I'm standing with Fallen, fresh off a victory over North. North looking just a little bit better than they have in the past. But Fallen, talk to me about how you're feeling of your team's performance thus far.
Fala, galera. In Portuguese or in English? I'm kidding. So basically, I think the team is doing well. We had a not so good match against FaZe. I think we misplayed a little bit of situations. Our city sides are weak, but we kind of saw the match and saw what we did wrong to fix for the next time. Against North was a difficult match. When Mirage started again very slow and City side was weak again, but we managed to come back on T side and I think it ended up 16-14. Then on this matchup, I think we won Overpass, which was pretty good for us. It's a map that we have been working on and finally it's paying off. And Inferno is, I think it's a good map for both chains. So North is very good in this map as well. We had practiced a lot against them before the tournament, so kind of knew some of the tendencies they have, mainly on the CT side. But they surprised us a little bit. They changed their game plan. You can see that when you practice a team and they come up for the match, they always kind of trick you somehow. We did the same, and it was a good matchup. I'm glad we end up winning. Yeah.
Always something a little different there on the ends. Now, one thing that's been brought to my attention, and one thing I've even noticed a little bit, is your role with the AWP. Talk to me about how it's working within the team and basically with you.
Basically, I suck because I'm the helper, right? But what I mean is that I'm not getting the help up too much or not having that much impact. It's something I'm trying to work on, but for me, the most important thing is making the team win. And sometimes I see myself doing other things that's not helping and could help my team doing that. For example, in Inferno, there are times when I think code is going to be more useful and more important to have the WP on A. So if you have only one, I will give it to them. But it depends on the match. But I'm feeling fine. I don't put too much pressure on me. I know what I'm capable of, and the team trusts me on my abilities, so I'm fine.
All very situation dependent. The last question I have for you this. You're waiting on the winner of Big and Renegades. They're currently neck and neck. I think they're probably about 13-13, 14-14. Who do you see yourself playing against?
Really, I think it's 50-50 to be honest. Both teams are kind of the same level in my opinion, and they're playing good CS. Big is always a very tough opponent because they always come with something that you never saw before. So it's kind of interesting to see. And Renegades, we just played on the first matchup on the best of one, and it was a very intense match. We had to come back. So both teams are going to be challenging. We have to play our best game to go through. But I think this matchup gave us a lot of confidence. So I'm confident on us advancing to the
playoffs. Exactly where we can catch these guys, perhaps if they win that matchup. Seeing them on the big stage of the LAN XS. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to the desk for the boys to break it down.
Thank you very much, Trace, there with Fallen. Yes, one more step for him and one more step for us here at the panel as well. Yanko taking a step over at the screen.
Yeah, we're not really rich on time, so we're going to cut straight into it. This is the reset round for MIBR after winning the pistol round, losing the first gun round. And I also managed to rewind it a little bit. Keep an eye out on Stewie and Fallen holding the B bomb site. We've been praising them that this is what made them better because before the old SK used to struggle a lot with this site. And this is something they do fairly often. Stewie boosting on new boxes and Fallen opping towards ruins. But it's important to note that Stewie doesn't have any utility left, only a decoy. And North goes into a full-on execute. You can see he gets immediately traded. Fallen gets smoked and flashed off. And they just have to say after this save, even if they were in a 5v4 situation. Now later on in the half, and this is after North has been winning many consecutive rounds. It was 3-1, now it's 7-4 for MIBR. Yet for North, another reset round. Similar scenario is going to occur. You can see that Stewie now has more utility. It's still early round. You can see how they're grouping up towards Banana. MIBR tries to retake Banana control. They just play for info, falling back to the site again. That's some good mid-round aggression. They at least got some information. After that, North is grouping up towards B, and you will see a similar situation. Stewie again boosted in the same position. Fallen, probably realizing that the same thing can happen again, he's falling back towards the spawn and doesn't have an op, has only a FAMAS this time around. You can see Stewie, what he does now is jumps down, throws a smoke in the molly. He's playing around to buy time. He gets kills. That also now buys time for the rest of the team to rotate in. You can see that Fur is already in CT spawn. He was also throwing a flash. Cold Zero will start rotating as well. And now also Fallen jumps through the smoke, basically, because he's realizing Stewie is killing them. He's buying enough time. Fur is on the rotate. We just need to jump out and fight and help him out. And we're going to be able to win the round. And that's exactly what happens for MIBR and how close of a game it was. That small adjustment and actually getting a grip of that B bomb site really helped them out in the end.
Watching Stewie, I think for me was so fun just to see how many different places he could be put to hold that site. Now, I'd love to discuss it further, but we are going to be taking a break so that we have time to talk about our next matchup. We have Ents versus Navi coming up after the break, and Ents cannot be stopped. A lower bracket run that we haven't seen in some time from a team we haven't seen at all. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking all about it.
ESL One Cologne.